I guess.
I'm late. I'm late. I'm still moving.
Been a minute since we've been on, huh?
Not really.
How is everybody? Oh boy, let's see if it's going. It is, it is, it is, it is. Okay guys, are y'all there?
I heard you.
Not you, that my live chat says there's nobody there.
Probably nobody there.
There we go, we got Gunner, Paradise, and Ty so far. Hey guys! Uh-oh.
Oh, man.
The volume.
Oh, you just, who gave me this chair?
I did, I didn't know what was what. I just pulled some chairs up.
I don't like this chair.
Swap into them.
I don't need that chair.
I don't know where your little tractor seat is.
I mean, it could have been better. That chair could have been better. I could have sat back and went to sleep. Let me see if I can turn the picture up. The picture. I had to turn the picture up. The brightness.
Yes, we've been gone. We didn't do Tech Talk last week or the week before. Just had some things come up. I haven't been feeling so hot. I'm back in my glasses because my eyeball's all out of no idea what it is. Got a MRI scheduled for a couple weeks unless somebody cancels and I can get in early. But
yeah,
here we are.
We didn't know if we was gonna make it tonight because it's been depending on Aaron's eye.
Yeah.
So that's why we haven't been here. Have issues. So
he had to drive me. Like at one point, I could not open my eyes in the light at all. But I still came to work and kept all the lights off in my office.
Yeah, she just sat in the office in the dark, and I had to go in there and change all her computer settings to make her screen
black.
Like black. And I need to go. I need to go tap into the computer and.
Even if I knew how to do it, I couldn't do it because I could not look at the whiteness of the screen without. Oh, it's crazy. I don't know what it is.
How's everybody been? I don't know if the thing's rolling.
Since we got 13 on.
Well, I see my dad's like the last message. Hey, Paradise, Ty, Trellis, Gunner, Paul, Donald, Mike, and Mary. And my dad says he's driving.
Boy.
So he needs to get off his phone. That's what he tells me all the time. Get off the phone. Put on your seatbelt too. If I post a video or send a video in the car and I don't have my seatbelt on, my dad, he still treats me like I'm
just a baby.
14. So
just a baby.
I'm drinking tea and I got grit and stuff in my cup. I guess it don't matter. I breathe it all day, but I keep my lid on there. It needs a new piece of tape. It's been in there for over a year.
The flip top's missing and he just put tape over the hole.
Yeah, I dropped it. So, yeah, let's see. And your dad, Mr. Fish, Mr. Smith, Paul, everything works out good and your eye gets better.
I appreciate it. I hope so too. I hate my glasses. Cannot stand them.
She was doing a little better and then she decided to wear her contacts and she stopped doing her eye drops and she paid for it for a day.
Sunday morning I got up and I said I'm not going to put the drops in because you can't wear your contacts if you're using the drops, and I'm not going to church without my contacts, so I put my contacts in and then went to church and then came home, and by 2 o'clock in the afternoon I was back shut in the dark because my eyeball had exploded again.
Lake and Lodge said, woo, the Mays are back. My wife thought she was going to have to give up the remote tonight. My wife thought she was going to have to give up the remote. She's probably bored. I'm sorry that I'm boring you. I'm boring you, or we're boring you, or we're keeping him away from The Simpsons, or whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I tend to look at other people's YouTubes and I'm like, man, why would I watch this? And then I just sit there and I just continue to watch it. The ones I can't stand is when I watch like the survival videos or
bushcraft and preppers
or cabin builds or something like that, like off-grid cabin stuff.
That Russian dude we watched for 8 hours one day when it was just pouring down outside and we couldn't leave the house really. We couldn't get any yard work done, and we watched this Russian man make a whole bunch of stuff with nothing.
Yeah, it was cool. I learned a lot from him, but he talked. But a majority of those bushcraft dudes, they just carry a camera out there and they set it and they just work and there's nothing going on the whole time. And I'm like, dude, really?
It's hard to follow when there's no dialogue, just silence and...
But I know how hard it is because it's hard to do this. It's easy to do live because it's unscripted. I don't have to worry about cutting. I don't have to worry about anything except for messing up.
Don found Popeye already.
Oh. Well, it looks like Don,
ding, ding, ding,
the winner.
Winner.
Yeah, Popeye's back there hanging on the floor. He's scoping. He must have it on the big screen.
He got on to us today because me and Juby toyed with not doing it again, and Popeye said, I gotta be online.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll get Donald and the I don't remember what I was saying.
There's Albert, that you don't like watching the...
Oh, yeah.
That
I don't like...
It's difficult to put the dialogue in there if it's a video that's not live because you have to go back and edit and da-da-da.
Yeah, a lot of editing. And I tried that because before I ever even thought about doing car stuff, even though I've built cars ever since I can remember, I never thought of having a YouTube channel building cars on a YouTube channel. I always thought it would be something survival, woods, guns, something like that. And
liar, liar, bonfire.
Yeah. So I started with me and my buddy. We're gonna do the YouTube channel and start doing videos. But me and him went out and we had our rucks and we were in full gear and it's crazy camera movement to try and get shots. So you had to like go up, set the camera, walk back, walk to the camera, then turn the camera around, walk away from the camera, walk back to the camera, walk ahead, put it in a clearing, come out of the clearing. I mean, it's crazy.
It's very unrealistic to make it look realistic. So
Yeah.
if you're doing, every trip has to be done almost twice, and then come home and cut and splice all the extra stuff out because turning the camera on, off, placing it in different places.
Yeah.
It's just...
And I'm not very good at that. And then like here, it's the same way with taking pictures for the magazines. I have to set the camera up at this angle, go over there, act like I'm doing something, snap a picture of myself, move the camera around, get a different angle so they can have something to choose from, take another picture. So I have to get like 2 or 3 different angles of the same shot each time that I do a different step in the build. And everybody that watches the channel knows I'm 900 mile an hour everywhere, so I have to slow down, and my body don't like slow down. So
even if he had a camera crew, it's hard to chase you around, as I find on Tuesdays. Gunner said, God don't care if you wear glasses to church. I know God don't mind. I'll fall up in church looking a hot mess, but my comfort level so that I can see what's going on, I can't see well in glasses because my vision is so horrid.
She shouldn't have a problem seeing anything. She's in the choir, so she's right up there on the stage.
That's true. But I wouldn't be able to read the prompter without my glasses. I can't see my hand in front of my face without my glasses.
Y'all should get her to sing one night.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I guess we can go and...
Do you want to answer questions now?
Yeah, I guess she's popping questions on me and I ain't even prepared. So I didn't even know about
this. We had a pretty busy day. Usually I take about 30 minutes to prep him with the 1 or 2 questions that I do get by email, but did not do that today, guys.
So this could be a loaded question.
So let's just read it.
So she's gonna read it out loud.
I'm not ready.
And let me read it to myself and see if I just want to scrap it first.
Tim's one that we had already talked with about those braces on the side. And he said, thank you so much for looking. Fortunately, mine are not too bad, so I'll blast them and reuse. I tuned in Tuesday and figured I must have somehow missed it. We were not here last Tuesday. So looking forward to next Tuesday. Working on fitting drip rails and roof to quarters. We're having a bit of an issue with the gap between the roof pillar and the quarter sail at the bottom rear of the drip edge. It's about a 1/4 inch gap. I can pull it with a clamp, and I guess, the drip edge will hold it in, ? If Juby has any thoughts on it, Tuesday would be great.
Let me see. I have to read this because I can't comprehend. I'm very bad at reading. I have to like build the car while I'm reading and look at it.
Hearing somebody else say it doesn't really get it through to him.
Gap between the roof pillar.
Everyone vote to y'all. I sing in a choir, so you can't hear me.
At the bottom rear. The roof pillar. I'm not sure what he's talking about. I wish I knew if he was on or not. Because I got quite a few Camaros sitting.
67?
Well, I mean, 67 is going to be the same on roof area for all of them. I'm just trying to figure out, having a bit of an issue with the gap between the roof pillar and the quarter sail at the bottom rear of the drip edge.
So like where the quarter meets the roof and the drip edge, drip ends there, maybe?
Pull it in with the clamp, and I guess the drip edge will hold it in if Judy has thoughts. Also, rear window opening dimensions and windshield opening dimensions would be wonderful. So yeah, I got one back here. The one that's back here is a 67, I believe. What?
Your brother said you illiterate.
Unreal. So that's why it says show or hide.
Yeah, because he's saying something rude. So
yeah, saying so. I should ban him from the channel.
It's already. I did it already. It's just.
Oh, you are. Oh. So
Everybody's telling me to sing.
I'll look over this picture. Okay, so I'll walk back there. I'm not sure what fitting the drip rails and the roof to quarter. Drip rails. I'm not sure if they have if they removed the drip rails and they put them on the car.
No pictures came along with this one, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, if I had pictures, I would be able to tell a little more. Drip rails to the quarter. I can tell y'all, well, never mind. I would say y'all can tune in to our church on Sunday, but it's not an individual, so I don't know, you might get here. She's got a pretty big mouth.
I don't have a big mouth.
A loud one.
Yeah.
You'll see her dancing up there.
My voice I wiggle. Oh boy, I throw down. I get the girls up there giggling and the guys and everybody laughing.
While I read, Aaron can sing a song.
Let's go look at whatever you want to look at.
I don't know what's the other question because I can't answer this. If they were on, or if anybody knows or has an idea of what they're talking about.
This is Tim. If you're on, if you could
elaborate
a little bit on the question
we'll walk
you
back
asked.
there.
And then I believe James is on. James Kelly says, I sure enjoy Tech Talk, and this is from James Kelly. There's your photo for one. And I'm having trouble with plug welds holding. I weld the 5/16 hole to the frame and some hold and some don't penetrate the frame. Tried different things, must be missing something. Can you cover this tomorrow on Tech Talk, please?
Yeah, I just had that and I wish I would have saved it because, which I can go over there, I can get the piece out back. Yeah, plug welds are horrible. I'm not sure what you're using 5/16.
That's what he said. Is that not the right dimension?
I'm not sure. I can't remember what I use. I'll have to look. But yeah, I think so. But I can do a plug weld, or I can draw it out on our whiteboard up here, and I can do some if you want, because really all I was going to do was be grinding and cutting this car out, and we can do some on it too. But I'll show some of the stuff over here. What are you looking at?
Your dad. Sing, darn it, sing. I know you can. I've been there and saw you sing. I don't know what to sing. It's just hard to just come up and just break out in song. All right, let's go look at some stuff.
She's trying to get away from that. So, let me grab my gloves. I've got a different color gloves tonight. I've got red ones.
Oh yeah, because I couldn't find his normal pack. So
because all my other ones, see, I got spares, but they're all ate up.
He's got spares. All that means is he will not throw away the crappy ones.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're decent. See?
Oh. Yeah, that's
okay. That one's pretty bad.
That one needs to go in the trash.
Man, leave that thing right there. So we'll go back here to a Camaro. We got this nice Chevelle in today.
Y'all, I love these transport wheels that came on.
Yeah, I told the guy that brought it, I only see these in like real hot rod, the motorcycles.
Crotch rocket.
And all the big time hot rod guys, shops that build cars, and the famous ones in the Instagram stuff. I always see these wheels on all their hot rods, rolling them around in the shop. I'm like, we ain't never had none. This is the first time that we've had these in our shop. So I think we're moving up on our game. We're getting a little more professional here with the cars.
I have tried to update how we bring cars in on as far as requirements and what we will and will not accept.
And they're solid.
They're
so
great.
they won't get flat, and they have these little ridges on them, so little bumps, so when it rolls it's like a wagon wheel. I can't roll it. I could, but it's got
like
ridges.
stops in it.
So I guess those are put in there so that you ain't got to worry about chalking the wheel. If it's sitting somewhere, it won't roll. So it's sitting on one of them right now.
It's super cool. And this guy drove all the way from California.
Yeah. I told him, I said, man,
cool man.
You're from California. That's where all the hot rod shops are. You couldn't find nobody out there to do this? He said, no, you're the only person that does it. And
what you do, how you do it.
Yeah, and you're the best. So
Mr. Hickey says that he was wondering if there's any way to save the partial VIN that's stamped in the Chevelle quarter panels during a build. Is there
the one in the corner of the thing? Yeah, we usually save it if it needs to be.
The trunk, is that a trunk gutter?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's only on, I think, this year model, maybe.
Is that a 7?
Or from what I heard, that number, I'm not sure. I'm not a Chevelle expert or I'm not an expert on any car. I just build them. But I was told that number was a number that represented SS cars. So SS cars had this number in the back, in the drip rail, or the trunk gutter. Not sure, so maybe somebody can help me out. And I've had a bunch of people request that VIN number be saved, and we have. Usually I save the piece of gutter if I can. If the gutter's gone, then I cut it in. So
Uncle Wes is here.
Uncle Wes.
We're just walking around the shop looking at some junk.
Yeah. So I don't know what he's talking about as far as the drip rail meeting the quarter panel. I'm not sure if he means in this area right here.
Yeah, because the edge goes all the way down.
Well, some roof skins, this area right here won't close up. It's horrible. It's in the stamping of the roof, and it won't close up. Or I don't know if he's talking about down here at the bottom where the cell panel right here and the bottom of the drip rail meet. Now that gap there changes, depends on where you got these from, and I've seen factory cars with it come all the way down, and I've seen factory cars with it up. So I'm not real sure if that's it or if he's just meaning this area right here.
Well, Tim, if you don't chime in this evening, I'll email you with a link to this. You can look over it and tell me if we accidentally answered your question, or let me know more.
And he also asked about dimensions, didn't he?
Yeah, I didn't read that one though. So
I guess once we get there. What was the other? The other question was from
5/16 well.
Oh yeah, that. So we'll get to that. But like you can see this, no, this one ain't bad either. Usually the right in here, this is open real bad on the passenger side, and end up having to weld it. It gets stitched, and then we just grind it. But that's what I was thinking he might be talking about. It's not wanting to come down and close up that gap, and that's just the poor stamping in the roof. So
what do you have to do?
And I don't know if he has factory drip rails. I welded up. It gets stitched because it'll get a stitch anyways, because the factory stitched right here, and then the reason they did that is because you can't get a spot weld back here, so it got a little stitch here, and then on the inside there's a little bar in here that you can't get in and spot weld, so they put a stitch right here, and then they did a stitch in this corner right here. So we just stitched that, we welded up, grind it back to where it looks like that, and then we run a stitch over the top of it to make it look factory.
I think Tim just got on and said hello. So Tim, if that's if you're the Tim from PA that asked the question, if you would give us a little elaboration on what you were talking about as far as the roof quarter panel drip rail situation you're having.
So, one, if you're talking about the area down here. Two, if you're talking about the area between the roof and the quarter panel right here. Or three, if you're talking about somewhere else. And we'll come back.
Gotcha.
So, Chevelle, and then this is a full build, 69 Camaro, full build. So, you know, it don't have the drip rails put on yet because the side structure just came. So this one is actually Jamie's building. This is his first full build. I don't think he's watching. I think he left and went home or went to Walmart or somewhere.
He's going grocery shopping.
So I need to just tell him to watch my build on YouTube. That way he can figure this thing out.
He said number one.
Number one. So that's down here.
Bubba and Albert are still saying, sing, sing, sing.
I mean, did you put a drip rail on the car?
Factory drip rail?
Or is it factory drip rail?
Have you taken them off and put them back on?
So,
new roof, I'm assuming?
It's probably new roof.
New quarter.
And new quarter. And then the drip rail. So a big thing that happens here when somebody does a roof skin or drip rails, when we put these drip rails on, the way we do them is I know where they go pretty much by feel, because I can feel behind it and tell where it goes. So I usually put it to where I can feel. I carry the drip rail over. Let me go see if there's some over here so I can show you, which there's probably not. I don't know where they would be, because it should have some.
I agree with that statement. Aftermarket drip rail not installed. New roof and new quarter.
Aftermarket drip rail, and
I guess it's not installed yet. And he's having the issue, but
okay,
it is
so
a
he's
new
trying to
roof and
figure it out.
Yeah.
So there's some drip rails right here. Now we go this side because this is the side with the light, and usually this side fits pretty good. I want to feel it myself. So yeah, this side pretty much fits right. That side over there usually has to get stretched. So what I do is I pop my holes in it. I don't come down too far because the area basically about where that, let me get my knife out. I had a laser pointer. So basically this much, about 1/8 of an inch or so, is what's gonna hang down from this. So you should be able to reach in there with your finger and feel that lip and that lip on the inside. Aaron might be able to get in there or get the camera over there so you can see.
Where?
But right up in here, which I don't know if you can tell, but you can see there's about an 1/8 of an inch.
You can see a little.
And then it drops, and then it drops again. Now, you don't want it up where that right there is flush with that. I wish I could, trying to figure out how I could mimic it here. That was a big word, wasn't it?
Mimic.
Mimic. So, if you can come over here to the light.
And if I turn this way,
So
I can see better.
if this is your roof edge right here, or your inner structure edge, I had to move over here. Erin's looking at her phone. So you want to, you don't
Gotta read the comments.
People think, well, we're answering the question right now. We ain't got to read no comment.
Ooh.
So people think that that right there is just supposed to line up flush like that, to where that piece meets with that when it goes in there, but it don't. It's supposed to be below it like that. So there's supposed to be about 1/8 of an inch reveal there. So roof structure and then that, and you'll have just a little bit out. So another way to do it, if you're not comfortable with sticking it up there, getting it about 1/8 of an inch, putting a clamp, moving it up, getting it clamped, and then moving it and getting it clamped. Here, a way that I teach the guys to do it when they're doing a car is to get the quarter panel on, get the door gap, everything working, get the tail panel on, your deck lid gap, everything working with that. Set the roof up here. Make sure that the roof profiles with the front. So what I mean by that is this lip here, when you stick your fingers over the two and you touch, it should feel about the same. You can tell when you reach in and you can feel when one's off, because you know where your fingers are because you can touch them together. So if you put them on and you're not looking, you know where your finger, you're not doing like this and missing your finger. So you know where they are, and if you slide them back to that edge, you should feel it. And if you feel you went past, then your roof is not in the right spot. Don't pay attention to how much is hanging out over the front or how much is hanging out over the back. Usually that lip's wrong. So just stick your finger in there and feel to where you feel that edge and the roof edge right, and it should be right on the back. So put your roof up there, get all that, like I said, feel it, clamp it down, and then take your drip rails and stick your drip rail up into the car. Stick it up into the roof. Get it lined up back here. Get all this working out, whatever makes you happy. Some, like I said, some of them it's high, some of them it's low. It depends on who made the car, what plant it was made at, who put it together. Part could have been stamped. They're gonna use it. I've seen them in all different ways. We might be able to walk out back and see some. But stick it in there and then put it up into the roof and get it lined up where you want it, and then reach in here and feel it and see if it feels correct. Clamp it with, if I can find a pair of the clamps, these work the best because you can clip it into the roof in the drip rail. So it'll clip onto the roof and it'll hold it. So roof on, quarter panels on, door gaps, trunk gaps, everything's working great. Feels great in the front, feels great in the back. Got it clamped on, sides sitting good, sides tight. Take your drip rail, stick it up into it. It should line up near about with that. It should line up just about with that. Sometimes I've seen this bent and it don't line up, but it should line up with it. Stick it up in there and then take the finger clamps, clamp it to your quarter panel in 2 places, and then clamp it along the roof. Once you got it clamped to the roof, look in here and see if there's anything you think that is completely wrong. If it ain't wrong, then come inside here and put you a tack. Just put you a little tack on the inside with your MIG welder. Put a little tack right here in the corner, maybe one right here and one up front. Take your roof off, take your quarter panel off, weld all your holes up, weld it all, grind it, stick the roof back on, should work. And then come back later, make sure you put those tacks where you can get at it to with your cutting wheel, which I figured he might have one laying around, but your straight shaft cutting wheel, and just cut those tacks loose and grind it. Cut it and grind it and make it look back factory to do away with those tacks that's in there. That's usually how we do it. But me, I get them up in here, and I don't just throw them up here and weld them. I throw them up here where I think that I know where they've been the majority of the time. Clamp it, clamp it, clamp it into where I feel with my finger, because I know how to feel it where it's supposed to be. And then I just come in here where I've got my holes for my spot welds, and I just put me a little tack in one hole, little tack in another hole, little tack in another, and a little tack in this one. And then I build the car out. Test my roof, test my quarter panel, make sure everything's working like it is. Then when I drop my quarter panel, I take my roof off till near about the end. I drop my quarter panel to come in here and weld this stuff up. When I got my quarter panel off, I weld up those holes, stick my quarter panel back on, do the same on the other side. And then last, when I put my roof on, and before I put my roof on, I go ahead and weld out these, and then I weld my part across here.
He said gap where drip rail goes at lower rear width between quarter and body frame, where the drip rail goes and pulls quarter into body pillar. So the drip rail pulls the quarter into the body pillar.
So he's talking about down here is the quarter panel is sticking out, and when he sticks it, it's pulling it in.
Is that right, Tim?
Which it should pull it in. If it's stressing it anyway, then it probably something wrong with a wheelhouse location or something like that. I mean, it should pull in tight.
Yeah, even Go-Go says yes.
Says what?
He said at Tim Hunter, yes.
Yeah.
Tim's the one asking the question. So.
Yeah, I mean it should pull in. I mean, you can tell right here by this little notch and that thing right there. If you stick it up in there and touch that against it, you can actually feel the back side, and it's exactly where I said. So, and I just noticed that because I was holding it here, but I never really paid no attention. But if it's stressing trying to get it into there, I don't, something's got to be wrong, because the quarter panel comes right there at it.
He said yes.
We got a Camaro sitting out. I mean, now you do have, there is those, I don't have my light, it's up there, but I mean, you can see this one. Let me see, let me go get my light.
What? It's a little dark in this car.
What?
I was gonna try to film across if that would work.
I doubt it, because it's in there trying to look inside here.
Oh.
I mean,
I was just with the door open and two bodies. It might be difficult to get the angle.
Because that's right there. I mean, the quarter panel's supposed to be tight, and then your little piece that comes in and welds right here. But the quarter's, I mean, pretty much against it. And then usually I try to feel like a finger and a half, you know, down through here. There's a measurement that a lot of people try to hit, but I generally look at it, I mean, and can tell what it is by feel. Let's go. There's one out here that hasn't been cut. Then again, it might have. Let me open up the door so we get Wi-Fi. We got a bunch of.
Yeah, we had Mopar month, and now we're about to go into GM month.
And we got one right there, and we got one. Don't look at the jigs and stuff too hard. We got one right there.
Oh, no.
So
she's a beaut.
We got her, which that's the one that's in there being built, and then we have this one, and we have another one in there. So, I mean,
Nate Jackson said unreal.
I mean, this is factory, and like I said, I can feel it's like 1.5 finger width.
Yeah, he said he's got a 1/4 inch gap.
1/4 inch gap right here.
Yeah, at the bottom.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the drip rail. It's got to do something with this drip rail, or what? Or either, I mean, you like this. I mean, you can see this is about 1/8 of an inch high, but I've seen them come down past it, down deep in it. Just depends on how far they shove the quarter panel up. I was trying to get in. I should know these things. But I mean, well, you can't see because it's got the thing in there, but it's pretty flush. I can feel the quarter panel in here, and it's got the stiffener or the brace. And this car here has actually had a quarter panel cut in. You can see it right there.
I was about to say, it does look like it's got some.
They cut in a quarter right there. This car came, and the customer wants to get it built, and he came for a quote, and we quoted him, and he was from Arkansas. So instead of him carrying it back, I said, if you don't mind it sitting outside,
sometimes we'll pull it in when we have room.
We'll leave it out. If not, which it's sitting out here right now, but it just didn't get rolled back in. But like I say, it's here. This, if you look at this one, it's got a little bit of a gap, but it just depends. Some have a gap, some don't, and you can actually tell that this, which you You can see it flexing a little bit. But I guess it all depends on what the stamping of the quarter panel was. And I know this is factory because this is the factory. They cut the quarter panel in past right here. As you can tell, this is high. That's way different than a Camaro is supposed to be.
And it's very
and you can
prominent,
you can tell it right here. That don't even look nothing like Camaro. But this is factory, this is factory. They cut it in below that. So I know that's right, but the other side is against it. This side's not. And you can tell how thin the drip rail, the flange is. Me, I usually, if I can find it, we ain't got no quarter panel. Let's say, usually on the quarter panel, before I put the quarter panel on there, I made a video on it. It was one of my older videos on doing the quarter panel. Before I put a quarter panel on, I always take that edge of the quarter panel right here while I got it off and I hammer it back. I fold that more because the angle that it's on keeps it away, and it don't allow you to be able to shift your quarter panel forward to close your gap. So if your gap's big and you didn't replace the drip rails, or you replaced them and feel like they're fitting perfect where they should, that right there would make your gap big, because right here it's going to hold it off, and no matter how much you put the monkey on a stick back here and jack it up, all it's going to do is slide the quarter up the thing and move this, and then you'll end up leaving down here and you'll leave a gap. So hammer that flange back with your hammer. You put your dolly back there and just hammer it back. You can go a good ways with it, and it's not going to matter. All that's going to do is help your quarter panel slide up tighter to make your gap look good. And then when you go to spot weld it, or you get ready to weld it, if it's sticking away, when you put the clamps on it, the clamps going to pull it, fold it back down to where it's supposed to be. So just hammer that flange back. I do it on every one of them before I put the quarter panel up there. You can actually tell this one's been hammered because you can see how it's over broke. You can actually see it lifted up out of the drip rail right here. But when you get a clamp and you put a clamp on it, it'll pull it. You can see it move it. So I didn't put it.
Yep.
And it closes that gap up. So then you just do your spot weld. But yeah, and hammer that flange. I was trying to think of any other place that I work on. I hammer that flange back, and I also hammer up my flange in here to make I don't know if I've showed people before about a flange. Let me see. Give me a piece of cardboard here. This is my makeshift sheet metal. So if you got the flange here, which is like this, and then you got the flange of the tail panel, and if both of them are aimed in like that, and you put them together and you clamp them, it's going to pull right here and it's going to leave a gap. So I always hammer them to where my flange is back and my flange is back, so that part meets first, and then when I clamp my clamp on it, it pulls that tighter. So if you got it like that and you go to clamp it, it's going to bend back here and it's going to leave that gap open. So if you overbreak the back, whenever you put them together, they fit tight, and then you clamp. That's the same thing I do on here. I hammer this back, and then I hammer the flange back on the deck filler. So that when you clamp, it makes it nice and tight. Mm-hmm. So we'll go up here to the, these were the parts that he was asking about, the that go on the inside. Let me see.
He said great information.
Like this. These are on 67. And they go right here. They weld in and they go right here. So when we go to spot welding down through the inside, it gets spot welded right here to the quarter panel in this little gap. And a lot of times they have some of that body sealer body stuff on them right here that touches, and sometimes I've seen them that they don't. I guess it was just something they put there, and then it gets stitched down here at the bottom.
Charlie said he had to cut a notch in his drip rail on both sides because they seem long.
Yeah, the drip rail a lot of time has a little notch, a little step up.
And
but
see,
then
the one we just looked at outside had a little bit of a gap, and this one doesn't. So, like Juby said, it varies.
Yeah, and then another thing is a lot of people, when they put a drip rail on, they try to line it up and get this corner right, and they fit this corner to where the corner feels good, and when they make that feel good, this is wrong. And if you take and get this slid up to where it's almost touching up here where it's supposed to be, and you take it to the shrinker stretcher and you stretch it right here, it bends it out and it brings that down, so it changes your distance here. Instead of you trying to fit this radius to this radius, it's actually this radius is wrong, so you got to open this radius up so that you move this up to match the radius, and that makes this higher.
So change your drip rail to fit your car. Don't force the drip rail into it.
No, just take it over to the stretcher, put it in the stretcher, and like I say, it's usually this side's good on the passenger side. Usually the driver's side is the one that I had to take to the stretcher, and I just stretch it and I get it to where I get this near about touching right here. Once I get that touching, then I work it back. But if you get this touching and you go in here and you feel, and it feels like this is way forward, because that's what it's gonna do. Get it touching, you feel in here like, man, this thing's way forward, so you slide it back to make that spot right there even and feel good, and it leaves this behind, but it makes this here lower. And then you can't get your quarter panel up in there. So when you stretch this right here and it opens up, it's gonna move this thing back further, which allows you to slide this forward till that gets past right here. And when it gets past, then that's gonna leave you further up the car with this right here, and that's gonna allow your spot right here to be nice and close.
Go-Go says that's wisdom right there.
Uh-oh. So I can measure the window. Let me get the I got all the measurements somewhere.
Albert says, so much for working on the Mustang.
Yeah, so much for working on the Mustang. Hey, this is a Camaro, Shannon. We got Mustang.
I mean, what you gonna do?
So,
Albert did say preach is in the house earlier.
uh-oh. So this is what we use. This is the killer tools, the trim. I usually put it on 15, which it don't matter as long as you got them the same. Don't run one at 16 and one at 2.
Yeah.
And but the spot that I usually measure on the window is I come down at the base right here, which Aaron might want to come over here.
Yeah, and get closer.
I come over to the corner and I put it there. Let me get over.
Same corner on either side?
And the same on both sides. If once I get here and I see what it is, I'll know if I'm right or not. "59 inches. So the bottom on this one measures 59 inches. Let me go check on another one and we'll see just how close two are.
Or it's gonna show you how different.
Yeah, we'll see. So same spot, and let me see. So right there, and you can see it's riding a little high. It's a little high on that one. So this one could be a little bit more. And that just shows you, but usually 59 inches is what I run. And then I do the same thing at the top, but I measure from where the roof edge is into that corner. So where the roof part, let me get here. And that's 48 inches. We'll go in here
you're right in there.
Yeah, so I go where the roof edge goes in, and I get that corner, and then I hit the same on the other side, and that's 48 inches. So 59 at the bottom, 48 at the top. Now we'll go check this one and see if it's in the right spot. Corner, in the corner, 48 inches.
Boom,
So,
y'all, it's
48
magic.
and 59. I'm not sure if they wanted the back.
I'd have to go look at the paper.
48, 59, and we'll throw it up here and we'll just do the back. So I'm gonna go, I can't really get into it. So, I guess the only way to go is up on top of the quarter, down. And it's saying 47 and 1/8, because I can't get down into the corner. So we'll see. That's 47 and 1/8 from quarter. Let's see what this one reads. And it's the same. So 47 and 1/8 from the point just sitting over into the edge like that, basically. But down in the corner. So that point a little ways in and a little ways in. 48 and 1/8.
You want to do the top?
Or 47 and 1/8.
47 and 1/8.
So now I'm gonna go on my where the let me turn it around.
Where
the roof flange meets, and this one I can get in there because of the angle, and that's reading 45 and 1/4.
45 and 1/4.
From
Let's
the
see if it
end of the
matches.
roof. And 45 and 1/4. So
How you like them apples?
So that's from the drip from the corner where the end of the roof is to the quarter panel, which is right in there.
Boom.
And that's a rebuilt car and a factory car. Good thing his stuff was on because we just tested him.
Yep.
All right, so now we'll go up here and we'll talk about spot weld. I don't know how much.
We got 45%. We're at 54 minutes.
So, this was a prime example of the second question, which this. Let me stop making noise.
Let's say nobody can hear you over the banging.
This had a floor welded in, and it was welded, and you could see all the little plug welds sticking through. And I went to hit it because we left this part connected when it went to blast. and this piece was in there when it went to blast. But you can see every one of the plug welds, none of them was really holding. That little spot right there might have held, and then they had a screw. You can see those right there, they were cold. They wasn't even holding nothing. They even had rust. So I don't know what they drilled. They had a screw right there. I can't remember. The way I do, let me pick this thing up. I'm not sure what size I always drill. I'm not sure if it's 5/16 or not.
Tim said, sorry about the Mustang. Do not apologize. This is Tech Talk Tuesday.
Yeah, it's not building cars. I mean, it's...
Paul said Camaro Tech's the best.
Tech Talk Tuesday was really just gonna be, in the beginning, was gonna be sitting behind the little roll around thing, which I hate, sitting
chatting and answering questions.
Chatting and answer questions. So, and then it turned into, that was just boring, so we started doing work. So
Charlie said, I wonder if I should buy a Trammel.
yeah, this is 5/16 that I have here. So it is a 5/16 that I use, but a lot of times I just grab it if it looks big. I'm not sure what the hole punch does, and I might can do it with the, I don't think the welder will show. Let me get, I'll see if I can draw it out on the board here.
5/16 or 8 millimeters, what people are saying.
Yeah, I think that's what the hole punch does. But me, I don't really know how to put it out there.
You can erase all that. I need to redo it anyway.
Aaron needs to redo it. Let me come over here
This is ugly.
and move my, well, Aaron's dipping and
I
tripping.
backed into a car the last video.
So, I mean, I could weld it in person. Let me use my,
Get your eraser. Uh-oh. It's been up there so long, it's not going to want to come off.
don't I got some spray? I thought it was in here.
It should be somewhere over with you because I haven't seen it in a while.
I think we carried it over to the other little board.
No, I've been using water to update our other little board, but we can erase it if it's easier.
I'll use this one now. I'll just grab some right here. Some water.
While he's getting some water, I will show y'all our time clock here. Old 1913. I have no idea when it's from. They actually still sell them. They're like $300-400, and it wasn't keeping time for us. So everybody was like, you know, we were either writing in our time or changing the clock. And Juby finally finagled with it enough that it's maintaining time. We also put it on a different outlet, so we're not sure which one helped, but it's working. So
yeah, I wasn't sure if it being on a drop cord affected it, which it had been there for a long time, so I don't think the drop cord did. But
yeah, because it was over there for 6-7 months with no issues, and then all of a sudden it just wouldn't keep time.
A lot of people get grinders and stuff, and they put them on small drop cords. And when you put grinders and stuff that use a lot of amps like that, I'm not sure the term.
Amperage and ohms and all that stuff.
When you run something on a drop cord, you need to make sure that, especially power tools, make sure your drop cord is thick. Don't use a cheap one from the Hobo Trail Dollar General to run a grinder, because if you do, you'll burn your grinder up. Running a smaller drop cord, cheap drop cords on your power tools will burn them up. So that's why I thought that the clock might have been bad, because the refrigerators run off of it and the time clock was run off of it, and it was going through a surge protector. So I thought that that might be affecting the time clock, which it's losing time again. So maybe next Tech Talk Tuesday I can change the motor in it and the minute cam
Yeah, because we found another, well, Juby found another motor in Cam. We just haven't installed it because as long as it's keeping time, me and Juby really, really don't like to spend money.
So, yeah, so I'm a clock worker too. No, I just take stuff apart and I figure out what it takes to fix it, and then I guess I'm a problem solver. So a guy come from church yesterday. Yeah, he came yesterday, and he sent Aaron a message. He said, I tried to reach Juby, but I couldn't get him. I wanted to see if he could weld something for me. So I felt like my dad, because everybody in town goes to my dad to get him to do stuff, and all the people at church come to me with their stuff, which I'm not hating on it. I love it. One of the guys, the older man at church, he came here. I taught him and showed him some stuff on welding. Really enjoyed hanging out with him.
Wasn't that Ray that came from welding?
Ray.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed hanging out with him, showing him some welding techniques and stuff, even though I'm not a welder. But then Harry came and he wanted to fix a stool because he didn't want his grandkids to get hurt on it because one of the welds had broke loose. So I welded that, and he asked me, do you know anybody that could work on my trailer doing electrical? I put lights on it and I can't figure out why they won't work, but I wired in new lights, and I said, I'm your man, I can do that. He's like, well, I didn't know you did that. I said, I do everything from sewing to cooking to whatever. I can do it all. So he brought his trailer out here and he dropped it this morning, and I already think I see what the problem is. He has the lights mounted onto a piece of 1x4 wood, and the light's supposed to be hooked to metal because it gets its ground through that and through the ball. So I think I've already fixed this problem. I'm just gonna have to run a ground wire or either figure out how to move his lights off of the boards. It's a metal trailer, but it's mounted a board to the metal trailer, and then the light is hooked on top of the board. So I think he's got a ground problem. But anyways, we're gonna go.
Your dad said all those banners are gonna look real good here. We're building Laura here, so we gotta have them here. See that you bring them next time you come.
See that you get some wall space. Man, I couldn't do nothing. I went to his house and I was gonna go live because we put the trunk rubber in, and I was shooting the pictures and I could not get the lighting. And he's like, well, I can go buy some lights. I said, Dad, that's not gonna work. I need natural lighting. I said, photographers pay a lot of money for special lights that produce natural lighting, kind of. Just going and buying a shop light or a floodlight or anything like that still does not do the purpose.
They don't have those bougie lights in Lincolnton.
Yes, and then my dad has tons of banners and tons of flags and tons of stuff hanging around, and I'm trying to take pictures and not get some of the stuff in the photos because some of the stuff is
things that you typically just need to leave out of photos.
Government, whether you're a Democrat or Republican or whatever. You know, when I first started this, I said I wasn't going to talk politics. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Wasn't going to talk politics or religion, but I've decided that I can't leave Jesus out of it. So he's here with us. He's here tonight.
But we do attempt to leave politics out of it.
But I try to leave politics out. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a Republican.
We love you anyway.
I go by what the Bible says. If it goes against the Bible, then I guess I'm Democrat. If it goes against the Bible, then I guess I'm Republican. You know, so whatever the question is, it depends on if it goes against the Bible as to whether or not I'm a Democrat or a Republican. But anyways, he's got his banners and his vote this guy and vote this or whatever hanging up, and I'm trying not to put them in the pictures, even though I'm not afraid to say what I feel.
But if they're gonna go in,
it's in a magazine, and I don't want anybody, to feel offended by it. But
Or
welding.
a chance that the magazine may leave the content out because they couldn't crop it out properly, and then you guys wouldn't get to see it in the magazine. So we're just trying to be safe for you guys so you get to see the whole shebang.
So we got
welding.
I am an artist by the way, but I am not a chalkboard, dry erase board artist. I can draw really, really good.
As you're about to see.
No. This is no Bob Ross. Okay,
Happy
so
little
we're gonna do a happy little circle here, and this is gonna represent where we're gonna weld in this happy little circle. Like, okay, so this is your hole, and this is the end of my MIG gun. The black coming out is gonna be my weld bead.
Beautiful.
This is awesome. So what I try to do is, if I don't start in the middle and start, I need to do another circle. That circle's kind of big. So this is the don't do circle. This is the do circle.
They're both big circles.
A lot of people think that, all right, I'm going to try and concentrate my heat in the center of my circle where it's not going to hit nothing, so that I can get this hot and then work my way out and then work my way around. The way I do it, I found that the hole generally gets filled before this gets heated, and you run out of space to try and do your around and around. So I try to aim my nozzle, my stinger, the proper word. I try to aim my stinger into the corner of the lip, so I'm in. I don't start straight in like this and work around. I aim it towards this, so I come in here and then I'll go around this way, keeping this aimed at it. So nozzle, angle, watch the angle. So when I come in, I start welding, and I do my weld around, and I keep my tip aimed into that corner so that my wire feed is going at it. And then when I get all the way around, then I come in and I go on around, and then when I get near the center, I pull out.
Like a whoosh, a swoop.
When I pull out, it leaves me a little shallow spot right there. So when I come back and I do my grinding, it'll leave me a little shallow spot right there that'll look like a spot weld.
Oh, that's genius.
So I'll try to mimic it on the welder here and let y'all see. If it works, I'm not sure how good you'll be able to see, but I'll do it on the welder. And
Go says even Craig does the welds, like Juby is saying, if you ever get to watch his videos.
I just don't have luck with trying you run out of space for your weld.
If you start in the center?
If you start in the center, it fills it in way too quick. So let me find a piece.
And your dad said he taught you everything you know.
Oh man. Y'all better put on your waders. Alright, so I'm gonna go cut this. Get my safety glasses.
Just making two weldable.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this, and I'm gonna get my drill bit, because I'm gonna have to drill them. So I always pre-drill everything. Look at me. I throw the pieces I cut down.
I thought, but wasn't gonna say.
So
I'm gonna creep over here and see if I can get some good photos.
I'm
with
gonna
angles. I'm not doing it right now.
So I'm just gonna, I don't want to show out on the video and y'all watch this thing go spinning around on me. Look like I sharpened that drill bit, right?
Mm-hmm. so you don't have to struggle. Paul said, great advice for the plug wheels.
Maybe out of 3 of them, I can get one right. I might as well go on with 4, huh?
If you're gonna do 4, you should do 5.
Why? Aaron don't like,
I don't like even numbers.
I should have did this. Plus, anything you drill, you want to make sure that you grind so that the surfaces come together. So I'm gonna get my grinder and we're shutting down the Mustang over here.
Won't be much longer on here. We're at 27.
Yeah, we'll probably be done when we get through with this. So, like I said, you can't lay that on there and get it flushed down because of the burrs. So,
E-bird, E-bird.
me, you know, my other hammers over there. I like to make sure my stuff's flat. Let me get my hood.
I'd have to link the song we sang at church the other day. I Speak Jesus. Ooh, we had the whole congregation standing up.
So, let me see if this might go up here. I'm not sure.
Flat?
Yeah, depends on how straight it was cut. Yeah, it's pretty good. So, I'm gonna lay this up there. And like I said, I'm gonna come on in here a little ways. I try to stay into the outer edge with it around. I'm gonna somebody forgot to turn on the gas.
Ain't gonna do no good.
So that in there looks, but it held, but it's good. So you can't pull that off, even though it ran out of gas at the last second. But let me see.
Now you done boogered up your flatness.
No, I'm gonna go cut it.
Oh.
So and you see how when I ground it, it left a spot like a spot weld.
That's beautiful.
And you can't get it apart. So let me go cut it.
I love it. Oh, I'm over here in my little cubby. Just cutting that little piece off so you can weld the others.
So I can do a couple more. But you can see I couldn't pull it apart, and that was one weld, and that was
Lacking gas.
yeah, lacking gas. Gas lacking.
Gas lacking. Everybody got quiet.
We're in learning mode.
Yeah.
Oh boy, is there a new episode of Mando?
We watched the final, remember?
Oh man.
No more for a year.
Juby Skywalker. Oh.
Paul said Juby the Jedi plug welder.
Yeah. Is that what he said?
Yes.
Oh man,
Before you said it.
he was reading my mind. So, again, I'm gonna concentrate and then I'm gonna work around and I'm gonna continue like this around my hole. Not gonna go too. What are you?
I'm trying to cover my eyes. I really do not want issues.
So. So the same thing. If you stay around now that one
Sounded bad.
and the only reason it sounded bad is because I had some gap in between it, but I went ahead to do it.
Oh yeah, it did have a gap.
But you can see how much penetration was on the back side and the front. So you know it's welded good. But that's with, there's a gap in that one, and then the rest of them are fine. So and you can see that the gap one left the spot. That one there almost got in, and then that one there left the spot. So that would be borderline, but I changed up my direction. But you can see it's got plenty of penetration, and it's not going to go nowhere. I don't have luck with going straight in the hole, because it tends to, as soon as it goes in there, it forms a puddle.
Yeah.
And it spreads out, and it only attached to the rough cut edges, sticks to it, and then it leaves it where it's no good.
Flimsy.
Now
James Kelly's the man that asked you about that, and he said you guys are awesome. Thank you for the info.
so
Go-Go says Mando is over. The little one says no, no, no.
no, no, no. Uh-oh. No. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. Oh, I was gonna shut that, but I'm gonna leave it open until we.
So
get
what's
back.
it's Din Grogu now, right?
Yeah.
It's not just Grogu.
Din Djarin, so Din
Din
Grogu.
Djarin and Din Grogu.
Yeah, so he's becoming he's becoming a Mandalorian.
He's not gonna be a Jedi. He's gonna be a Mando eye.
Ah,
All right, we are at 20.
yeah. So, yeah, and it's about time. I got to go home and tend to the crops and feed the chickens and
The puppies, my children.
the puppies. Yeah, I forgot the puppies. But I got to feed the chickens and water the chickens and
Water the garden?
water the garden.
Well, we gotta water the chickens too. So
Yeah, I said tend to the crop.
tend to the crop.
But I did say water the chickens, because we got to water the chickens. Got to
right.
make sure the chickens have water.
That's true.
She thought I was messing up, but I wasn't. I was saying we got to water the chickens.
And I jumped on you before I let my brain hear everything you said, so I apologize. My bad, homie. But yeah, it's a daily routine that we have to take care of the dogs, the chickens, the crops, and most of our crops are doing pretty good. Our cucumbers are not 100%.
A lot of grinding is needed too, and a lot of grinding. Them ain't coming apart. Oh, no.
It tastes like a popsicle.
Yeah. So Lake and Lodge says that he drills through the plug hole and just dimple the back metal a bit. Ah, yeah, that'd be good. That way it gives it a little area. Or you could just drill all the way through it and then weld it. Nah, with us, we try to, when we do, like if it's a plug weld somewhere where nobody's ever gonna see it, only the 12 apostles, then we say the door jamb lock pillar, that area where it comes down in the car and it's shown, we can't get in there and weld a new one on if the rocker don't get replaced. And even if the rocker did get replaced, we're not set up to be able to do that. So we always pop holes in it and we plug weld it. So I tend to try to do that, and a lot of people will say that doing the circle and leaving the center low like that ain't gonna hold, but you can see they work
You can hang
perfectly
an
fine.
implement from that.
I would hang from it. I don't have no fear, especially that you've seen the penetration on the back. The penetration on the back side was just as big as the penetration on the front. So usually I do that and I sweep, because that saves me having to come back if I can hit them and grind them off clean and leave that little dimple. And then when you spray it with paint, that little dimple's gonna be there and it's gonna look just like a spot weld. But usually if you can't do that, once you do enough of them, you'll learn how to do it, and you'll be doing it just about every time. Grind it down, and then we get the single side and we come back and we hit right on top of it and make it dimple. And sometimes like that the middle one that I showed you that barely had any spot there, that would still show me enough to let me know where my weld was, so I can come back with the single side and push in that area and hit the single side to make a dimple. Now if you come off of your weld to a spot where there's air in between them or a gap, so when you weld, generally you're holding it down, you think you got it close, and you weld it. You might have it close in that area, but that heat from those welds makes the metals go up, go down. Usually it rises up, because I know some of y'all can relate to welding. You go in there and you tack a spot in the center and you start trying to work your way out, and before you can get out, the metal's already rised up, and then you're fighting a hole that's getting blown out. So that metal rises, and if you get a bunch of spots like that and you come back and you hit it with the single side, and you're not on one of your weld locations, it will blow a hole because of that air being in the back side of it and not touching metal to metal to give it that magnetic pulse, whatever. So hopefully that helps. I know a lot of people don't do the single side stuff, but I'm just trying to explain what happens when we do it.
Mr. Fireman just joined, and Wes reminded us that he has some good plug welding tips on his channel. So if y'all want to go over and check out Mr. Fireman's channel, he can show you some things too. And just like Gogo said, so many in this group you can learn from, and everybody is here to help one another. So that's the whole point of this, is y'all go check out everybody that has a channel, go see their videos, and Juby may do it one way, and Gogo may do it this way, and Mr. Fireman may do it this way, and you may put them all together and come up with your own way. So
yeah, that's all the guys on here, Lake and Lodge, Gogo, Mr. Fireman. Go check out their channels and see how they do it. They might do it different. The builder today,
different doesn't mean wrong.
He was asking me about, he was putting the rear roof bow in on the full build Camaro, and he said, what's the measurement? And I'm like, well, I can tell you the measurement, but are you going to know where that measurement comes from? The best way to do it in his situation here is to go out there and measure for himself, because he can set up the tram and put it at the location that he knows that he's got it at on each side, and pull a measurement from one of the cars that we have here, because we got so many. Go back there, stick it, pull your measurement from this point to whatever point that you feel comfortable with, and then set the car to that one. My point might be a little different. I try to use points that are constant and not a spot welded. A part might be in the wrong spot. I usually try to use a constant point of reference when I measure. So like the little drip rail thing, he might have to pull from the edge of the inner structure to the edge of the inner structure, or he might like to pull from down in the gutter. It just depends on where you want to pull the measurement from that you can see. That's why usually when I measure, I try to show you exactly where I'm pulling my measurement from and to. That way you don't get confused. So let's see.
Got a lot of folks saying good group of people, awesome group. Thank you guys for joining our group and being with us on the Tuesdays that we actually show up.
Yeah. We're trying to stay on it, but you know, sometimes there's things that happen, and I would really love to do more videos other than just the tech talk, and I'm sure I could probably get more views if I labeled the videos that I do more, or went in there and cut some of them out, cut some of the stuff out. But there's usually a lot of good tips and a lot of good questions, and it's hard to go and label all of it. Well, this is dealing with this, this is dealing with this. I'm not a tech guy, so I don't know, so I just, you know, and then again, I'm not trying to get 9 million followers. Who joins, who don't, and who likes it. So I'd actually talked about stopping the channel because it's a lot to put up with. It's a lot to deal with, and then you have people. I haven't really had many people, but some people get mad that you didn't answer their question, or you didn't do this, or you didn't make a video on this, and they get mad about it. And I'm like, man, you know, I'm not getting paid to do this, and then I gotta listen to people do that, and my channel's only got less than 2,000 people on it. I can only imagine if I had 30,000 followers or subscribers, whatever you want to call it, or 100,000. Imagine all the questions and all the people that would get mad because I didn't do this or that. And YouTube don't pay me. I think I said it in the last one that every month I'm averaging about $24 on YouTube, and they won't even give me that money because it has to be over $100. So once it reaches $100, if it's $105, they're gonna take the $100, and then they're gonna give me the $5, and they'll probably take a percentage off of that $5 that they're gonna give me. So I don't know, I ain't that big, probably won't never, hopefully I don't, I don't know. It's just, it's aggravating when people get that way, and then I feel bad that, you know, people are like, well, you didn't answer my question, and they're attacking me about it. And I'm like, man, I'll try to answer it the next time. I'm sorry. So
we started this just to be helpful and to take a little time. I mean, maybe in the beginning, GB was a little bit more interested in the numbers and the subscribers. So seeing that little.
Oh yeah, I was in the beginning. I wanted millions of followers and wanted to be the known hot rod guy and all that. And now I don't care about it.
No.
I don't care to be famous.
Our focus has changed a little bit. We still want to be helpful. We still want to get this information out there, but the focus is just, I mean, we priorities change, and you know, especially when you let God in your heart and He starts working on you a little bit, you start worrying more about the church and the world less.
Yeah.
Church more, world less. So
Jesus more.
Yeah, well.
So
the church is His bride.
I did hear a sermon today that, you know, it was talking about your talents and God giving you the talents, and you'll know when it comes easy to you and you enjoy doing it, then that's probably pretty much your calling in life. You know, if I could choose my calling, I'd probably say I'd want to be like the Apostle Paul. I'd want to be a bondservant for the rest of my life and serve God, and I try to serve Him daily in what I do. But the sermon kind of helped me today to answer whether or not I would continue on this path. And when things come easy and you enjoy doing it, and I do enjoy this, and it comes easy to me, as most people say, I can throw a quarter pound along from out in the road. So maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing, you know. But who knows? So we're just gonna keep on trucking and see how it goes. I'm not giving up yet. I'm praying about it, and
we appreciate y'all's patience when our schedule does not allow us to show up every single Tuesday, and thank you for hanging out with us when we changed the time from 7 back to 6:30 so that we can get home a smidge earlier to take care of the the chickens and the dogs and the crops and everything. I think that little bitty 30 minutes is a huge help, which we're over it now, so.
Yeah.
Did the preacher dude come visit you today?
No, he didn't. I was listening to a sermon on my phone. I deleted Facebook off my phone. I deleted Instagram, TikTok. I'm down to Snapchat, and that my daughter's begging me not to because we have this thing, a streak where so many days, we're at like 200 and something days of snaps every day or whatever it is, it's some streak thing.
Within a 24-hour period, each person must send a photo to each person at least once or you lose your streak.
Yeah, and me and my daughter's at 200 and something, and I am like seriously about...
I'm at 262 with your daughter, and she's like, please don't delete Snapchat. I don't know why it's so important to the teenagers, but...
But it just occupies my time, and I'm trying to get my daily time down on my phone. And
we've done really good.
Mine now, since Facebook is gone and Instagram's gone off of there, is YouTube and my Bible. And I want my Bible app to be more than my YouTube app, which is kind of hard because I listen to YouTube sermons all day long. Yeah. But anyways, before I lose y'all guys, I just want to tell y'all I do appreciate you. I love you. May God bless you. If you're a believer, if you're not,
ask us questions if you have some about that.
Yeah, it's a hard thing, and I've actually been thinking about, I guess it would be a sermon maybe, but I want to write my own, and I'm going to make a video on it, and about why, if you're not a believer, and why you should. It's
what will help get you in the right direction.
Yeah, what will get you in the right direction. But I mean, God's holding back, and any day He could come back. And I mean,
He's always there, but you have to invite Him in.
The wrath of God is horrible, and I don't want to see nobody suffer from it. And I heard it explained like this: it's like a dam that's holding back water. At any minute it's ready to go, and that's how God is. And we think of it as there's a fly landing on the desk there, how quick we are to swat and kill that fly, and us to release our wrath on a fly that quickly. That's how fast God can release His wrath on us. So we need to be ready. And if you're not saved, then you need to be saved. You need to ask Jesus into your heart and live by faith and believe in Him.